Another chance now for Gressel. Another good ball, and it's headed in!
Welcome back to the Player Manager Podcast. We have completed our odysseys. Well, more specifically, I think I've completed my odyssey traipsing around Europe that prevented us from recording for a week, but we are back, and we've got plenty to talk about. From me helping Watford announce a transfer, Julian taking a rather unfortunate shot to the dome, and maybe even most excitingly, we have our first ever sponsor on this podcast. Yay!
That's it.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you to Grips Soccer, which, obviously very on the nose, for sponsoring this podcast. You're going to hear more about them later in their fantastic high-performance socks that I may or may not be wearing. So I'm not promising feet pics, but that is a possibility at some point in this podcast. And if there was ever a reason to start watching on YouTube, that might just be it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I sent Julian a warm-up shot, and these socks are looking pretty good on the dogs.
Hey,
Dogs are,
they're really comfortable. I'll just tell you that much for now, but we'll get into it later. They're amazing. So thanks for being a sponsor.
Absolutely, and allowing us to continue to talk about all the random stuff that I mentioned we talk about and more. Messi's on a generational run. We haven't even been able to wrap up the Gold Cup because I was gone for a week. MLS-All Star formats, everybody's favorite. The women's Euros and the penalty shootout that wasn't, or it was technically, but it also, very real sense, it wasn't. But we'll start with the story I know you're all interested in, Julian, you in particular. How does little old me end up announcing a transfer for Watford? Okay, today we're managing Watford on Football Manager, and I know just the player that we need to sign. You probably recognize him from a few of those Wonder Kid lists that I've made in the past, right? All we need to do is go to search. We need to look up high flare, great long shots.
He can hit them, does so! Oh, what a goal!
And you know I love obscure nationality, so how about Australia? It's Nestori Irankunda. There he is. Now, signing confirmed.
Careful, yeah.
All right, training tomorrow at 7. I'll see you there. Yeah.
That is literally the number one thing that I wanted to talk about so bad on this, because I saw the video and I was like, wait a second, is this real or is this like, was it fake? But I was
well, I've been known to.
He's an actual player, right? Like an actual signing that you helped announce.
He is, as far as I know. He's not for the reserve team or anything. No, they're very excited about it. But I didn't tell anybody that it was happening until it came out. So what did I jump scare you when it came up on the timeline? What was?
Yeah, like I said, I was like a little bit, okay, wait a second. This can't be real, right? Like this Zealand is now helping, is like a PR guy now for Watford. How did that come about? So tell me about it.
Right. I'd obviously never been involved in something like that before. I'd helped some non-league teams announce their transfers, by just tweeting a picture of me going, sign this guy or something. But I was obviously in Europe for 10 or 11 days. Most of that time was spent in London doing a couple of different things. And I had 2 free days, basically. So I was just sitting there twiddling my thumbs in a hotel room. And I guess I got really bored because I checked my message requests on Instagram, right? Which you never do. You just never check your message requests. And I open it and it's just Watford. Right. Sometimes it'll be something like Watford Fan Club or Watford Fan 2786 or something. Right. But this was just the Watford Instagram account.
The official account.
And this is how they asked. They not an email, they just DM'd me and went, hey, we're trying to announce this transfer and we had this idea. Would you want to be a part of it? And the idea was for me to be sitting like right here where I am with you guys.
Yeah.
And you and to record something that I could send to them. Because obviously normally I'm in New York, which is a hell of a long way from Watford, which is northwest of London, basically. And I replied, I went, I can't do that, but I might be able to do you one better. I'm in London with nothing to do.
Wow.
At exactly the same time that, it's one of those fantastic coincidences. Like I probably end up in London.
Meant to be.
Exactly. Twice a year, maybe. How many free days do I have? Maybe 2. Right. So they nailed the timing on this. And they just went, sure, come by. So I just hopped in a train and got as close as I could. And then, they Ubered me the rest of the way. And I show up there and I walk in. They've got this whole training facility. They've got a little house for the media team. right? The whole media team's in this house. You know, one guy's got Instagram open, one guy's got Twitter open. They're all on the second floor. And I'm walking through and everybody's kind of looking at me. Hey, what's up? And they've set up a full fake streaming setup in the corner. And you see it in the video, and none of that stuff's plugged in. They just moved all of this stuff over into the corner and set up a fake streaming thing so I could record what is at the beginning of the video. And I believe on YouTube, you'll at least be able to see a clip of the video. I'm sitting there pretending to sign him on Football Manager. But of course, then the doorbell rings and I have to walk to the door and I answer it. And the player I signed on Football Manager now appears in real life. So we record all that before, and then we go downstairs and then they bring him over. And his name is Nestori Irankunda. He is Australian, and Bayern signed him from the Australian League because he was this Football Manager wonder kid, but he hasn't been able to get regular minutes with Bayern's first team. So he's from your, he's
I've
a
never heard
Bayern
of him,
guy.
so
Yeah, no, he most of his time was spent with Bayern too.
gotcha.
And so I think he played preseasons with the first team and stuff. And Bayern, in an effort to try to maximize him, sold him with a low buyback to Watford.
Okay.
So that was what the deal was. Basically, like, if he turns into what we think he could turn into, we have a buyback and then he comes back to us. But you buy him for this amount and he goes there. So they're very excited to get him. This is a big signing for Watford. I mean, they're through the roof. And he's the nicest guy. He walks over. They give him his jersey. He finds out his number while I'm standing there.
Wow.
Which is a big mind.
So you were a big part of his reveal, like his day.
I was. Yeah. I didn't know what to expect. They made it sound like, he's going to come over. He's got 3 free minutes. And we ended up hanging out for half an hour. We did a whole photo shoot together. It felt dumb because we even did a whole shoot where I'm holding the jersey like I'm the manager, the owner of the club or something. And he's holding the other side of the jersey. And I'm just standing there like that. I had no idea what was going on.
That's amazing.
But we recorded the whole thing with me answering the door. But my shining moment was the whole idea was I answer the door and he goes, "Gaff, I'm here." And then it cuts and it ends. But I can't help myself, right? And so not only does when he opened the door, I'm making a real dumb face. I mean, one of these, and you can see in the video, he almost laughs because we had to film me acting surprised opening the door so many times I almost couldn't take it, right? Because there's another shot in the video of me, right, being surprised that he's there or something. So he keeps it together and says, "Gaff, I'm here." And then I'm just like, "Yeah, we have training tomorrow at 7 a.m. You better be there." Something. I can't remember what it was. And they kept it in. And so that's my acting credit. I think I'm going to get an Oscar for it. And then we did a whole tour of the facility and hung out, with the guy until he went off to do his, whatever the rest of his physical was. I don't know. It was a pretty surreal day to just have happen out of nowhere.
That's incredible. So I mean, I'm looking at it from a player side, right? I've been transferred and I've gotten to meet new people and like be part of this like first day experience where you have things like that, video and photo shoots and all this like new training facility, and you meet a million people. So you can't remember anybody really. But I'm sure he'll remember you. I would remember you.
Well, he followed me on Instagram after,
That's cool.
And it was, but yeah, no, we were I was on his side of the glass. If you think about it as we're in a zoo, right?
Yeah.
Nestori and I were both the animals in the zoo, right? Because I was also there being kind of, we're doing this, and then we're doing this, and then we're doing this. And I was being moved around.
Yeah, gotcha.
He had a lot more of that going on than I did. But I think that we had such a good time together because we're kind of, for him, it was, here's somebody else that's being put through this kind of first day. It was, I'm not Watford. I don't know any of these people either. I'm meeting all of them for the first time.
So how did they know you? How do they know to like get you, I don't know, to even DM you and invite you just through YouTube and whatever? I guess one of the media people kind of knew you.
Yeah, I would guess. I mean, I know based off of my analytics that most of the people that watch me are English or British. And so if I ever go over to England, I am recognized a lot more than anywhere else. Really.
That makes sense.
And so I am sure, generally based off personal experience, that at any major club, there is somebody in the media team that
Yeah.
knows who I am, at least just based off of a thumbnail on YouTube or a tweet or a post or something. And so I don't know exactly who it was who kicked the idea up in the first place. But the way I would imagine is, if I'm working at a club like that, they probably had a meeting, right? Their media team was 7-8 guys, right? Watford's a big club. Yeah, they had a brainstorm, and they kicked around different ideas. And the idea that involved me for some reason won, right? Or at least it was high enough that they decided to send the message in the first place and hoping that I would respond, right? And so I'm thankful to whoever did, because it was so fun. I'm so thankful for whoever did kick that idea, because somebody there is playing Football Manager or watching Player Manager or doing what have you.
That's amazing.
I guess I have, as the kids would say, I have more motion than I thought I did.
Yeah. Hey.
Initially.
I mean, that's a cool little segment, a cool little wrinkle. I feel like that I wasn't expecting on your timeline for sure. And then all of a sudden it pops up and it's right there. It's a cool thing. You did a good job.
No, I mean,
very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, no, my acting was definitely subpar, but I'm not the only person that had a very exciting past week. You got a goal contribution.
Another chance now for Gressel. Another good ball, and it's headed
in. Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do, right?
I guess fair. Never mind. Yeah. So it was a normal week at the office, right? Instead of a disappointing one.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing in a way where we couldn't come away with the win in Portland. I think we had a really good week before then. We lost the game to LA, and then in Portland we tied the game. But ultimately, yeah, I'm feeling like I'm finally getting into a rhythm now where, okay, it's taken me, a month and a half where this was the first time I played 90 minutes. So it's really I'm really fully getting up to speed, and it's usually what it takes, right? 4 to 6 weeks. That's what preseason is for. And I obviously didn't play in Miami at all, and then when I got here, kind of got thrown right into it. So yeah, I feel good. I feel good in the team, and happy to have a vintage type of cross to kind of get on the score sheet and provide an assist in that way. And obviously wish it would have been a game winner in that sense, but all good. And yeah, we're pushing on. I feel good.
But unfortunately, because the voters were incredibly uneducated, you're not going to the MLS All Star game. The offensive.
Well, yeah, I mean that. I want to say that I would love to be there, but obviously I don't deserve to be there with what happened in Miami and how my first half of the season played out. So, yeah, it's all good. One day, hopefully, I get to experience it. But happy for all the guys and happy for my teammates, especially Michael Boxall and Dane St. Clair that are able to go. And seems like it's going to be a fun week. Are you going to watch the game?
I actually might. Because I think this format, especially for people that are watching this not from the U.S., this format is particularly cool. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and be bold here and say that this format is actually something that should be exported in some way.
Okay.
Too, because I think it would be a lot of fun to see this type of format in. I don't know, maybe do like some sort of charity cup at the end of the season and get the All-Stars from the 4 biggest leagues and have them play against each other. Because those that don't know, the format for the MLS All-Star game, which is not always been this, now is MLS All-Stars against Liga MX All-Stars. So these are the players, the All-Stars from the Mexican League playing the All-Stars from MLS. That is cool. And so much better than what they used to do, which was MLS All-Stars against just a club. I went to one of those. I watched MLS All-Stars play. I think it was Atletico Madrid. And that's just a completely different vibe than this, which is like an all-star celebration. Am I right in that?
I think so. I think usually when you play against like some European teams from how it was in the past, like you mentioned, Atletico Madrid, those teams usually are in preseason. So it's just a really difficult time to kind of play them because you never know how serious they take it. Kind of what the vibe's going to be, and it's just a strange one. This one is a true all-star celebration, right? It's like all-stars obviously from Liga MX and the all-stars from MLS, so it's an honor to represent the league, I think, for all those guys. And there's some really good players in that Liga MX team. There's some really good players in the MLS team. So I definitely agree with you where I like that format much better in a sense where I think it's a cool little thing where you have that North American, the two leagues, right? Two top leagues. And I like the idea of having that in Europe in a sense, right? Where you could have the best players kind of show up for a little charity event, like not a, full 90-minute intense game like that, but just like a little fun kickabout to, raise some money. I think that's a really, really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's always worried about fixture congestion, and I lead the charge on that generally. But I think getting an 18-man team together from the Prem and having them play an 18-man team from La Liga, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, I think it could never happen.
Probably not.
Unfortunately, yeah. No, there is an Americanization and kind of a commercialization of football happening in Europe. They're instituting halftime shows, right? If you talk to European people, it is kind of an that's a very American thing that's happening. So I wouldn't put it past them to look at an all-star game as a way to try to drive revenue. But I think right when I said La Liga, I realized the biggest issue with it, which is, look at what Real Madrid did when they found out Vinicius Jr. wasn't going to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
So now, if you pick a La Liga all-star team, right? It's 18 players. Real Madrid's going to get mad if their whole starting 11's not there, right? They're going to protest. They're not going to release any of their players. It's going to be right because 3 Atletico Madrid players happen to be in the all-star team or whatever. The factionalism it's almost too entrenched to allow these players to go. Are we really going to have an Arsenal player and a Tottenham player sharing the field in an all-star game, I guess, in the middle of the season?
They do it on a national team stage, right? Sometimes. So that's how it works out.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
The rivalries really I don't think they extend too much. Maybe the fans, obviously, but like when you play 90 minutes rivalry games, I think it kind of stays within that. And then afterwards, it's kind of like, all right, it's okay in a sense, right? Where the players get along enough, I think, to be on the same all-star team. And if you are representing, I don't know, the Premier League, you kind of want to do well for the Premier League or La Liga or whatever, but that's a whole other animal. I think I like the MLS All Star game. I think I'm gonna tune in. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be some good matchups and good players, and it's gonna be, I think, exciting, and I hope I get to be a part of it at some point.
And forgive my ignorance here, but have you been? I'm assuming you have, but like, how many times have you been in the MLS All Star game?
I have never.
Never.
No, I've never been an all-star.
You've got all these trophies.
Yeah. You've
got caps with the national team. You've never. That's got to piss you off a little bit. You've never been in the all-star game?
You know what? Whenever I look at the seasons and how they've played out, it kind of makes sense that I've never been, because, like, it sounds a little stupid, but I feel like I've always been kind of a second half of the season guy, where all the all-stars playing really well in the first half of the season, right? Then there's the All-Star break or All-Star game, and then the second half of the season, or now there's 10 games left. So I've always kind of, if I look back, I've always kind of been sometimes right there in the voting as well, especially early on when we were in Atlanta. It obviously helps when your team does really well too early on. But from if you look at the statistics and everything, it's kind of been second half heavy. So it makes sense to not have been part of it. And you know what? It doesn't really piss me off. It's okay. Like, it's a goal to have. It's not like a must have. Like, it's really an asterisk on my career, I think, if I'm never an all-star. I think if you win the trophy at the end of the year, it's much, much more rewarding than an all-star bid. So it's all good in that sense.
Yeah, would you rather have 3 all-stars or 3 trophies? I think you probably go into I'd rather have the trophies. But I just saying, at some point, Julian Gressel is going to have the big first half of the season, right? And be in an all-star game. Maybe you can take Messi's place, because apparently he might not be playing in the all-star game. Javier Mascherano, the coach, obviously, your former coach down at Inter Miami, would prefer rest. That is, of course, a very typical South American European response to an all-star game in general. Yeah. But Messi, if anybody has earned it, he has. We'll get into his accomplishments in a second. But if you're Messi, do you play in the all-star game? before we get to how good he's actually been.
I don't know.
I'll answer this question too. I'm not just putting you on the spot.
I don't know. I really ever want to put myself in his shoes because it's impossible, right? Like
Okay, that's good.
all the stuff going on, what he's going on, all the stuff that he's achieved. Like, does he really need an All-Star game? I don't really think so, right? Like, I don't know if he decides to go and play. I do think there's a penalty if you don't show up without like having
Really?
a
What would
legitimate
that-
injury. I think there's a
what would that
penalty of
be?
like you can't play the next game in MLS.
Because I was like, if it's a financial penalty, I don't think Messi cares that much.
No,
about
yeah.
that.
I think if you just decide not to go, I think you have to sit out a game. Some MLS rule, I guess. I'm not sure if that
That makes
applies.
sense. I mean, MLS doesn't want to just let half its good players skip the All-Star game. If you're trying to bill it as this thing that you can.
So, like in a greater context, you have to look at it like, okay, we played now Saturday in Portland, and we have a game Saturday. So it's not like we have a whole week of break or like a weekend where we don't have a game. Like our two All-Stars, Dane St. Clair and Michael Boxall, they're gone for the whole week. They're coming back Thursday, maybe one training session with the team, and then we're playing again, like on Saturday. So it's not like we actually get a break. So all these guys, I don't know, there's 4 players, I think, from Vancouver, they're playing Saturday. So it's not like there's an actual break. So these guys are missing a week of training. So I don't know if that penalty obviously applies to Leo. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know.
I think, okay, here's my answer. I promised I wasn't just going to put you on the spot. You had a very good answer prepared. I think I'm surprised that it was not an ironclad part of his contract that he had to go. Okay. I would have thought that MLS, as part of negotiating to bring such a, I mean, the Messi brand's bigger than the whole league. The Messi brand's bigger than almost any league in the world at this point. Honestly, maybe every league in the world, just the individual Messi brand is bigger. Right. And so if you're negotiating that deal to have him come to your league, I am very surprised that they didn't lock in hey, we have this weird, fun showcase event. We would love for you to play in it. I'm very surprised that it was left open-ended. Because if you leave it open-ended, like you said, Messi's got 400 trophies, 3 billion goals.
Yeah.
He's more worried about physically not having to deal with this thing midweek. You could see the writing on the wall. I could have told you before I was even researching it before the show that he was not. Yeah. He was probably not gonna. There was at least gonna be a conversation about him not playing.
Probably, but so if you negotiate with him the contract,
right?
Is this a point where like he says, no, take that MLS stuff out, MLS All Star stuff out? You're still gonna sign him.
Yeah,
you're not gonna let it die over that. You're not dying that negotiation.
I have a hard time believing that Messi would draw the line on that before MLS would. That's what I would say. I feel like MLS would be more determined to keep that in and maybe give him a little more money and do this and that to make sure that he would go to it before Messi would look at it and go, can the whole deal. We're not moving to Miami because I don't want to play this.
Yeah, I don't know. But last year he didn't go. Suarez didn't go either last year, I think.
Well, yeah, last year it was the ankle, right? He was hurt at that point.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, this year at least, as far as we know, it might come out that he's had a slight strain and, might need to sit out a little bit or something. As far as we know, he is healthy. But either way, the main reason that we had Messi in the rundown of this show is because you might not have noticed, if you are not a keen observer of MLS, how ridiculously good he's been. He's 38, by the way. So Julian, there's still plenty of time. The goal contribution output that he has put together has been startling. And I know that MLS compared to the Premier League, there is a step. There's a significant step that happens between those. But I'm saying that as a precursor to you could take any player from any league in the world and put them in MLS, and I'm not sure that you'd be able to find another player that has put together what he's done in the last 7 games. Because I'm going to get in 7 games, Lionel Messi has 17 goal contributions. 17.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's more than 2 goal contributions for one dude per game over the last 7 games. Even more remarkable, one of those 7 games was a 3-0 shutout loss to Cincinnati, which means he did all of that in the other 6 games where his team actually scored.
Yeah, it's incredible. What a run he's been on, especially on the back end of a Club World Cup where I know they were going for it. And it's not like he's been rested and he's been kind of just hanging out. He's been playing every game and doing that at 38, and not easy games either, where they travel a lot, and I think they've been on the road, except for example all last week. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, so good, right? MVP type level right now, and definitely scary to think, like to see from another team's perspective, where you don't want to kind of get in the way. I am happy that we kind of played him in Minnesota right before the Club World Cup, and right as kind of they were hitting a little bit of a low in that sense. But right now, him and the whole team is just playing really, really good. Yeah, Leo is insane how he's still doing this, and like I said, doing it, midweek games, weekend games, all of it. So really, really incredible.
Do you remember any other, in your time in MLS, any other player having any sort of similar run to this? He has, by the way, 6 braces in 7 games.
Yeah.
That one game where they obviously didn't score. He has a brace, somehow not a hat trick and not a single goal. In the other 6 games, he has scored 2 goals in each game. That's 6 braces in 7 games, which is just insane to say out loud. But has there ever been another player that's done anything like this in MLS?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's ever been another player to ever do this, right? Like, I don't know, like if in any other league, if you compare that, and Leo's been just above the like he's done all his career. He's just the top guy, and he's still doing it now, and that's incredible. I mean, you have guys like before my time in MLS, if you think about David Beckham, but even him, I don't know if he was that effective in a sense, right? Or Thierry Henry, like he has certain games where he's just insane, but not like at the level of consistency that he's at right now, and this span of games, like it's insane. So, yeah, unbelievable, and just kudos to him, man. Like I don't know, I'm at a loss of words. It's like it's that remarkable.
It's hard to put into context, but I guess it also is. You said like, well, David Beckham's not effective in that way. It was like, okay, he was great and won the championship right with LA Galaxy, but there's a difference between being effective and getting 17 goal contributions in 7 games, right? That's just inhuman, should be impossible. He has 25 goal contributions, and I think it's 17 or 18 matches played this year. So he's somehow seems to be getting better. It's like he's learned the league a little bit more. Now he's very comfortable. He's played in all the stadiums, and he's just able to kind of go out there and do his thing. That or Javier Mascherano's just basically unleashed him even more as some guy that used to play with him.
Yeah, finally, they're hitting the stride, right? And I'll probably go as far as if the Club World Cup wasn't happening, they were probably running away with the Supporters Shield right now. But because that was happening, they're kind of right in between, kind of, or in the mix with really 6-7 other teams, and us were kind of like right there too. But it's going to be a really cool finish to the end of the season. I think there's 10 games left, and a lot of teams have a little bit more, like Miami. They have a few games in hand. But it's a really, really interesting finish to the Supporters Shield race, and obviously the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, how they shake out, and then once the playoffs approach. So it's making, Leagues Cup, throw that in there. A few teams have that, us included. We're still in the Open Cup as well. So it's definitely a cool little finish here coming up.
Oh, the treble is absolutely in the cards for Minnesota United. Don't get it twisted. It's out there.
Hey, 4. We can still win 4. Yeah.
Okay. MLS Cup, Open Cup, Leagues Cup. What's the 4th one?
Oh, the Supporters Shield. I was counting the Supporters Shield.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, hey. I guess that is up there. Back-to-back Supporters Shield champion, Julian Gressel. Yeah, I need to get at that. Speaking of big, shiny trophies, we were not able to process the end of the Club World Cup because we didn't record last week, but the very interesting tournament that has dominated discussion mainly around how much should you care about it and what is it. It has come to a close with Chelsea winning the championship over PSG, making Chelsea, led by Cole Palmer and Todd Bowley, the reigning world champions of football. Are you comfortable with calling Chelsea the world champions?
A little bit surprised how they beat PSG in the final. So nobody really saw that coming. So kudos to them. And yeah, congrats. I mean, hey, it is what it is. But the funniest thing happened ever, and that was Donald Trump in the middle of the celebration.
Dude, that was... I can tell you exactly what happened too. I'll go back to Chelsea in a second, but Donald Trump, right? He grew up in an America where soccer was entirely irrelevant, right? I know this because my dad grew up in the same environment, right? That generation of my family, the United States didn't go to a World Cup for 40 years, from 1950 to 1990. In those 40 years, it was a black hole, right? There was no soccer talk. There was no soccer discussion. There was no soccer anything. Football. I know that I triggered some people, but I'm talking about it inside the U.S., so I'm okay. Donald Trump obviously was born and raised in that environment. So I know for a fact this guy knows basically nothing about the world of soccer or football. He doesn't know really what the World Cup is, how you qualify for it. He certainly doesn't know what the club World Cup is. Maybe he's heard of one or two of these teams. I'm sure there was an advisor in the White House that's filling him in on like, hey, this is what's going on. This is why it's important or something. But what he really doesn't know is that the trophy lift in soccer or football is very different than the trophy lift for, let's say, the NFL. For those that are not American, if you are winning, you win the championship in the NFL, the head of the league comes down and hands the trophy to the owner of the team. Yep. And it isn't one of those, it's not that. They basically just grab it and go, yeah. And the head of the league is still there. So while Donald Trump is a man of many flaws that are easy to point out, and that's just not the point of this podcast, right? I don't think he was necessarily in the wrong here, because I think he went up there thinking it was an NFL trophy lift.
No.
And then people, exactly. And then people
I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I
think that's what happened. I think that's what happened. I don't think that he knew that it was really really bizarre for him to be there. I don't think he did. I think he was just a confused old man on stage going, I thought
no, I think he was absolutely sure of what is going to happen. And he was like, I'm good. I'm staying right here. I'm going to be in these pictures. I'm going to be in the middle of this all. This is, I'm just going to be part of this. And I knew exactly that he was supposed to leave. I'm sure they briefed him on it before to say, here, they give the trophy and then you leave. And he just decided, nope, I'm good. Because you can kind of tell, he's with Infantino, he's going back and forth a little, and he's just I'm okay.
Yeah, you can tell he definitely, I mean, if you know anything about the guy, he doesn't like people telling him what to do.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And so I think whichever one of us is right, the moment somebody goes, I think you should move, he's the type of person that would turn around and go, I'm the president. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay right here. This is where I'm going to be. Right. So but the best part is just a bunch of, English Premier League players awkwardly trying to usher the president of the United States in a general direction and then just kind of giving up and not knowing what to do. It was so broadly uncomfortable. It was like an episode of The Office on stage. It really was.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. And it was something new, made the whole thing a little bit more interesting.
Spice of life, man.
Yeah, but even the players were thrown off and everything. So it's just funny.
Oh, wouldn't you be? Yeah, because you're like, in the longer he doesn't leave, the more you're like, do you lift the trophy now? Do you just wait for him to eventually decide he's going to leave? I'm glad that I wasn't in that position, because I would have been incredibly uncomfortable.
Hey,
I don't know.
I'm glad I'm not working for Chelsea in the photography department, and I have to kind of Photoshop him out of there so you can hang it maybe in the training ground or anything like that.
There's gonna be with there's gonna be a silhouette with Trump's hair just cut out of the celebratory picture. That's be an incredible thing. What a fabulously weird finish to a fabulously weird tournament.
Yes,
I mean it couldn't have a normal trophy celebration after how just bizarre the whole thing had been.
That sums it up perfectly. I don't think we need to cover it anymore. I think that's what it is. It was a
Yeah.
first edition of a tournament that will happen more, that I think will get better over time. If it happened, every 4 years, I think it'll be something special. Teams will be able to prepare for it more. And, we had some good games. We had some good matchups. We had some horrific injuries to my guy, Musiala, in Germany, especially.
Jamal.
And so, there's positives, there's negatives, just like with everything. And I think that's kind of summing it up, quite nicely, where, we'll see how it continues. And this was first of many, I think.
Yeah, my takeaway too is that this is going to continue. I think they got enough out of this. They got enough viewership. They got enough excitement at the end of the day. They saw what the South Americans brought to the table. I think they're totally going to bring this back. They'll stick it in Brazil in 4 years, and it's going to be a huge deal.
True.
And yeah, for the rest of our lives, there will be Club World Cups, and we will be maybe paying attention to them, maybe not. But there will probably never be another head of state stuck on the stage during the celebration. That I can basically guarantee.
Just wait till the World Cup next year.
Oh. I dread the thought. Well, it's terrible, right? But just the world that I live in. When the election happened, right? When the election finished, one of my first thoughts was, Donald Trump's going to be running the U.S. during a home World Cup.
Yeah.
Like there's just going to be there's going to be something. I don't know what it is, but kind of like what happened at the Club World Cup, there's going to be some weird thing that happens where you're just like,
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see.
That brings us to another international tournament, except this one involves actual countries. And this would be the Women's Euros, which is blasted along to the semifinals. I actually been to this tournament. I went to it 4 years ago, watched England play in Brighton. It was a whole lot of fun. They're down to the last 4 teams. It's England, Italy, Germany, and Spain. But the thing that really caught my eye, and I don't know if you actually had the chance to watch this, was the quarterfinal. There was a match between England and Sweden, and it went to a penalty shootout. Right. Mm-hmm. The other couple matches, Italy beat Norway, Spain beat Switzerland comfortably. Germany did beat France in a penalty shootout. That was also weird, but England and Sweden had a penalty shootout. I'm just gonna give you a sentence and have you react to it, because I don't think were you able to watch this game or no?
No, I watched the Germany one, but not this one. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That's even better for my purposes here. In this shootout, Sweden's goalkeeper saved 4 of the 7 penalties she faced.
She's a big one now. And it's saved by Falk. Falk saves again. And Falk has saved again. Oh, and it's saved again. Extraordinary.
And she lost the shootout.
How? How did she even have to get to 7 penalties? Like, that's incredible.
She saved. England did not miss the net on any of their 7. They scored the other 3. She saved 4. She saved 3 in a row in the first 5. She saved 3 penalties in a row.
Nobody could score, huh?
They didn't win the shootout.
Wow.
Now, Sweden missed the goal multiple times, and the English girl made a couple saves, and Sweden missed the goal 2 or 3 times.
To miss the goal from 10 yards out is hard.
That is a cardinal sin for me.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm pulling up my other fun stat that I'm going to read to you, but I would so much rather be the English team and have 4 penalties be saved, because I think if you put the ball on net in a penalty shot, you always have a better than 50% chance of scoring, in my opinion.
Yeah, at least you have a chance of scoring. Yeah, because if you don't put it on net, you don't have a chance. Yeah.
Right. So here's the way the shootout went. And it was already a weird game because Sweden had a 2-0 lead in the 78th minute. And then England scored 2 goals in 100 seconds. It was one of those and then the game was tied, and Sweden's sitting there going, I mean, Sweden probably, if you were Swedish, you can't believe you didn't win this game. Like there's no way you didn't win this game. So England scored the first penalty. Sweden missed. England missed. Sweden scored. So 1-1.
Yeah. England
gets saved again. Sweden gets saved. England gets saved again, which is the 3rd straight save for this girl. Sweden scores. So Sweden is up 2-1.
Yeah.
I promise I'm leading to the other particularly ridiculous part of the shootout. England then scores. So it's 2-2 going to the last penalty, right? And if Sweden scores, they win.
Yeah.
And they send up the goalkeeper. who has saved
No way.
she had saved 3 penalties, and the goalkeeper is actually part of the reason that first weird stat I told you wasn't true, because she steps up taking a penalty to win it and skies it.
Because this would send Sweden into the semi-finals, and she's missed the target.
Oh no! But
Skies it.
What's up with that in general, the women's soccer? Why do goalkeepers take so many penalties? The German goalkeeper took one too. Very
I've always advocated for it. Now, granted, I was actually watching this game in a bar, and when the Swedish in England, because I was in England for this, and when the Swedish keeper came up to take it, I went, "Oh, this is going in." I always think goalkeepers should be taking penalties. And then, of course, right as I'm saying that, she blasts just a terrible penalty over the bar. I looked like a complete idiot. But it's because when goalkeepers train penalties, it's usually when the team is doing another drill. And so goalkeepers take a ton of penalties against each other.
Yeah,
It'll be like the starting and the backup goalkeeper. And so I mean, at every practice almost, I would take 25 or so penalties just as, while maybe the other team's doing some sort of physical exercise. I don't know. This was just in like with my travel team that I played with and in high school.
Yeah.
I've never missed a penalty in intramural, in anything, just because
that's a bold claim right there.
So
that's
much. I'm dead. I've never, I didn't practice, but in like actual game situations.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I play in men's league in New York now, and I score every single time because I've just taken it so many times. Because in practice, we would practice the penalties against each other. Now, obviously, that didn't work for the Swedish goalkeeper, unfortunately. But here's the craziest thing to me: she saved the one after it.
That's
again
bounce back.
Yeah, like the mental toughness. You just took a penalty to win the game, missed it, and then saved the next one.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Sweden missed again, so they had 2 penalties to win and missed them both.
That's tough.
Which,
hey, yeah, that's difficult. You can't blame anybody else other than yourself in that case. So at least, I don't know. Yeah, interesting. That's
combined.
One of the more ridiculous shootouts I've ever heard of. So
it is. The final stat I had for you, I prepared 3 stats. One, obviously, the goalkeeper took one and missed. The first one being she saved 4 of 7 with her hands. Out of 14 penalties in the shootout, they scored a combined 5.
Yeah, wow.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's so
that's bad. When there's I think there's an 82% chance of scoring XG.
The XG of a penalty for the expected goal calculators is like 0.77 or something. You have a 77% chance to score a penalty. Have you ever been involved in a shootout where, because here's my best guess, it's like a snowball, basically, right? Where once one person misses or 2 people miss, then all of a sudden that goal gets a lot smaller. The goalkeeper gets a lot bigger. Is that real?
I'm guessing so. I've never been physically involved myself, but I've been to the stadium. This was right when I got traded to Columbus from Vancouver. So I was literally the day before I got traded or whatever, and they had a Leagues Cup game the next day, and I was at the stadium watching. And it went all the way through the whole lineup. So I think there were a total of like 24-ish penalties taken. So all the way through the whole lineup, to both goalkeepers, to guys that have started the first one had to take it again, go all the way through. So it was just like, I don't know, 4-4. Then like every time somebody missed, the other person would miss too. It was just like incredible. And everybody was so tired of it by the end of it. Like everybody's just like, let's just get on with this, like end this thing. So it was just hilarious. But that's probably the craziest one.
It's so emotionally draining because you're so up for a penalty shootout, even if it's in a freaking friendly. That the crowd noise is ringing. That's the old meme from the EA college football games where like the crowd noise meter is shaking the whole camera, right? But to just have to go through it for that long, you're just exhausted. I imagine that's how the Swedes and the English felt, where so many people missed, and
except you're at the Euros and you kind of want to advance, so. Like we were this was at like a Leagues Cup game, and I think it was, at Leagues Cup when you tie you can like get an extra point when you I don't know, when you
Win the
win
shootout.
the shootout. So it wasn't really like, nobody really knew how much this meant. So everybody was just like, let's just get on with this. But in the Euros, I'm guessing you're like, oh man, like actually have a chance here still.
Yeah, no, this is a trophy for your whole country and everything. But I think even in the League's Cup shootout, it's just one of those. It is alchemy. It is just a bizarre mental situation you find yourself in shootouts, and it is always weird. And anybody that pretends they fully understand penalty shootouts and how they work and why they work, because I remember even Japan at the World Cup against Croatia, those guys just forgot how to shoot.
Yeah,
they ended up they went like 1 for 5, and these are professional athletes in a World Cup knockout match, and they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And there's no explanation for it at all.
No, there really isn't.
You know what could have saved Japan in that match? Some sick grips soccer socks right there.
Whoa, look at those things.
Yeah, look at the grip on that bad boy right there. It's time to thank the sponsor of this episode, Grips Soccer Socks, as you probably discerned, as you're a very discerning viewer yourself. The very first sponsor of this pod, and we thank them for that very much. They are fantastic. And I'll read a couple of the things that make them so great. One, they're specifically designed, as you can probably guess by the name, for footballers. So if you play football, know somebody that plays football, you're looking for a birthday gift, a Christmas gift, this is the perfect thing to get them. They have an anti-slip technology. You probably already saw that shiny stuff on the bottom. But most importantly, despite being anti-slip and perfect for the footballer in your life, they are incredibly comfortable, which is why I am wearing them while recording this podcast. They also make sure that my feet don't slip out from under me and I fall out of my chair, because injury is obviously a high risk in the streaming profession. Yeah, no, it is. I mean, actually, don't act like I haven't fallen out of this chair. All right. But players, especially at the high professional level, wear these types of socks all the time, particularly grip soccer. Julian, why is that?
Honestly, well, one, because of the grip, right? And to provide an extra sense of stability. But the reason why I honestly love the grip soccer socks so much, ever since I really got to know them and got to try them a little bit, a few training sessions, and they're really comfortable, man. They're really, really comfortable. One of the most comfortable socks I've worn. And that's why, I just actually started wearing them in games. I've had them now for about 2-3 weeks. This was the first game in Portland that I wore them at. And yeah, they're
you got an assist.
Yeah, got an assist. So good start. Yes. Super comfortable. And honestly, yeah, the no grip technology really helps. The super grip technology, I should say, really helps. It's much better than just wearing regular socks. I notice myself slipping out a lot in my shoes, like when you have a hard stop in a turn or trying to hit a cross that you're not perfectly running onto, you kind of have to really get around to it and things like that. So that technology helps a ton. But again, first, when you put them on in the morning, before even getting into the cleats, they're super comfortable and just really awesome to wear. And honestly, there's not many guys that I know of that don't wear, some sort of grip socks. I've worn a different brand before, but now I'm going to stick to these ones, just because how comfortable they are and yeah, just how, how much they've, kind of just been really, really good in the shoe. They feel really, really nice.
No, I mean, it's a problem even in all my marathon training, where if the shoe is not perfectly fitted or whatever, you just feel your foot moving around too much, and you can start to bruise your toes. It cause all these problems. And so being able to actually stick to the bottom of your shoe is hugely, hugely important. And we're not just telling you about them. We actually have a deal that is available for you if you would like to have it. And that is 15% off with the code Player Manager. That's no spaces, just Player Manager. You can get 15% off on Grips Soccer socks. Again, these incredibly comfortable socks that I believe we are both wearing right now. So if you want to connect spiritually with us, that would be the way
Please
to do it. Yeah, absolutely. And you have the opportunity to really improve your game because they're in all sizes. There's a very wide range of sizes that are available from Grip Soccer and gripsoccer.com. As you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, that is where you need to go. Use the code Player Manager to get 15% off, and you can podcast like me with grip. That's what we're talking about.
That's right. I love it.
Well, thank you to Grip Soccer for sponsoring the podcast. And now that we've got you all set up with your new socks, it's time to head over to the questions that you guys sent in for us today. And there's actually a large selection of questions. The first one comes from I want to make sure I get this right. Caught UK stories. It could be Kodak stories. Something like that, right? I have some questions for each of you after the US Open Cup quarterfinal against Chicago. They added both of us with questions. So the first one, at Zealand. Let's say you were the goalie during last night's match and you were the only one that saw the cheap shot on Julian that drew the red card for Chicago. Boom. Would you have the stones to get into that Sasquatch's face and defend Julian? Now, love the use of the word Sasquatch. Would I have the stones to get in his face? So now I am going to watch the video along with you guys, right? I have not seen this yet. We've saved this for this moment. Yep. I just hit play. Oh, Julian's gone. You know, initially you'd say he's gone down fairly easily there, but let's see what the Sasquatch got up to.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to a replay.
I was hurting, man. I was really.
You were hurting?
Oh yeah.
Ooh. This guy was not happy with you. Oh, damn. What happened here, Julian?
So honestly, I don't know. I think it was somewhat accidental. Like I don't want to, I don't want to cause a whole thing. Honestly, we said hello to each other before this happened. This was the first quarter.
Right, it was
of the
Omar
game.
Gonzalez is the guy that's done this, former U.S. international as well.
We've played against each other, mutual respect. Like there's no malicious intent, I think, behind that, and we kind of like have a little arm, kind of wrestle match going of like where I'm trying to, he's trying to push me off a little bit, and I'm just trying to get rid of his arm, and then he just gives me the forearm or like the fist, and I'm just like, man, like rocked me completely in the chin, and yeah, my jaw was pretty sore for a couple days after. But again, I don't think it's it's a little bit reckless in his sense, right? Where I think that's where the red card's coming in, where it's just dangerous, but I don't think it's on purpose.
Right. So the question is for me, would I have the stones to get into that Sasquatch's face? Well, from one Sasquatch to another in Omar Gonzalez in this case. Yeah, if you're a goalkeeper, I always believed that goalkeepers operated with complete impunity. I had a goalkeeping coach that told me you can hit anybody as hard as you want as long as you also get to the ball, right? That was kind of the point of the position is you are defended, right? If you come out to catch a ball, if you're a goalkeeper, you train to come out with your knee up. Right, because then if somebody's coming in, you're just going to clean them out and you're going to be able to get to the ball anyways. You don't want to leave yourself exposed to get hit. You're also the only one wearing boxing gloves. So absolutely, you got to get it. You got to get involved. But it sounds like, and the more I watch it, the more it does look like an accident or potentially just a brief moment of frustration, which happens to everybody where he doesn't get the jump that he's hoping towards the ball. You're kind of grabbing at him, and he just just one of those.
Maybe.
Which it looks when you're watching the VAR replays, which I was just kind of watching through. It does look bad enough to be a red card, but importantly,
it felt bad enough to be a red card.
Significant contact, like you can see the significant contact. Most importantly, though, is if there is somebody out there that does hate Julian Gressel, they are wrong. That's the most important. That's the most important thing. Now, the question for @Julian. Obviously, drawing a red that early changes how the team plays. How does taking a dirty blow like that impact your mentality and play both in that moment and then throughout the game? Looking forward to Chicago coming back to Minnesota this fall so the Legion of Loons can boo that mammoth jackwagon. This dude's insults are fantastic. We have Sasquatch and mammoth jackwagon. It's like a respectful way to chastise your opponent. He says in parentheses, that's Minnesota nice for you. Every time he touches the ball, right? So the question being, how does that impact your mentality and play in that moment and throughout the game?
Well, first, you got to kind of recover. I mean, in the moment, I was shocked that it had happened. I was rocked a little bit, so my jaw hurt, quite a bit. The trainers came in, they kind of checked me for a concussion. I ended up getting a little bit of a headache kind of in the back of my head for like the next 15, 20 minutes. And I communicated that to the trainers. I didn't have any dizziness or anything like that. So I wasn't really worried that I had a concussion. But I ended up actually getting subbed out at halftime just because they wanted to be on the safe side, I think. And yeah, it affects the game. Honestly, I think if you know the game or if you know how the game went, I think a minute after that, we actually concede a penalty. So we're actually also down 1-0. So then obviously you're man up, right? You kind of can keep the ball a little bit more. They defend a lot and you kind of got to adjust, right? Where you got to adjust to find a way to break down a team that is going to defend. And we haven't been in many situations where we had to do that. So it was a difficult game in that sense. But yeah, my initial reaction, is first get over it and then just try and play the game and try and push on and just try and win the game because you have that advantage of being a man up. But yeah, interesting. It's first, I think, red that I've drawn directly against.
Really?
Yeah. So I've never gotten one myself, but it's also the first one that like somebody fouled me and then got a red card. So yeah.
I guess I guess you don't want to make it a habit because it sounds like it hurt pretty bad.
So. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm okay. I don't think that needs to happen again. I mean, it was okay. Like I said, the headache went away and my jaw just hurt for a couple of days where just kind of chewing stuff, like eating was just a little bit annoying.
Yeah, well, that's not that important. So
yeah, exactly. I have smoothies, just drink.
The wired shut jaw with the straw. Yeah, perfect.
But other than that, yeah, it was okay. And no hard feelings. No hard feelings against Omar Gonzalez. I think he, like I said, wasn't on purpose. I don't really want to put that out there.
Yeah, no, you can tell even in the highlight, he kind of comes back over to check on you, and it's like, no, there wasn't a lot of the team attacking Omar Gonzalez and the animosity and kind of fisticuffs that can follow red card incidents. But as I said, anybody that's going to get that mad at Julian Gressel is just wrong.
Yeah.
They're just wrong. That's not a natural response.
Thank you. So any more player announcements coming up? The window is open a little bit more. Any more something in or in the pipeline?
Any other big clubs, you know where to find me. All right. I'm checking my message requests every day for the rest of the transfer window. I'm completely locked in.
I can help too if you guys need a duo. We're there.
True. Yeah. So. All we need is a 3-day expenses paid trip to Madrid and Florentino. We will do any. Yeah, we will announce your transfers. I promise. But we'll talk about that on the next podcast because that's it for today. Thank you so much to Grip Soccer for sponsoring the podcast. Check out gripsoccer.com and the player manager code 15% off to get your very own pair of the socks that I am wearing right now. And have a great rest of we're happy to be back. Have a great rest of your, when's this going to come out? Day.
Whenever. Bye.
Yes.